Hello, I'm Derek Groves. I'd like to apply to be the high brass section leader for the 2020 to 21 school year. Um, I'd like to start this application by once again saying thank you. This application or this part of the application is late, and it's my fault that it's late. And I appreciate very much that you're giving me the second opportunity to apply myself for this. And I appreciate that. I should have probably come up with a script, but I don't want to seem a script doesn't really work, and you don't always have a script in life. So I just wrote up the questions so that I could record here. So yeah, if I yawn at all, I'm sorry. I've been working day in and day out on some research papers and stuff, so I'm just a little bit tired. So I apologize in advance if I seem to be a little off or distracted. I swear to you that I'm not distracted. I'm gonna give this my all. The first question: why do I want to be a section leader? Now, I don't remember exactly what I said with my written responses to these questions, but I remember saying, and I still agree with this, I don't see it as my time as an incoming senior. You know, the gimmick has been that the senior or the best senior or whatever becomes a section leader, and that's proven to be unwise in past years. There have been people who have wanted the role, but they were given it because they were the best, and it ended up not being the best for that section. High Brass luckily has seen some very good section leaders, at least while I've been in high school. And, we give each other crap, for lack of better terms, but they're very good people, and they're very good at what they do. But I want to be section leader because I see it as my opportunity to apply myself to a higher role in the band. I don't want to do it as a, how could I put this? I don't want to do it as a power sort of thing. I don't want to be like, oh, you have to respect me now because I'm a leader. I demand you respect. At the end of the day, I'm just another student. At the very most, I'm just at a higher grade level, but that's not enough to warrant, immediate respect or anything. I'm not doing it for that aspect. I'd like to apply so that I can help people. I don't want to be a boss. I want to be a leader because at the end of the day, you yourself, the leadership team, they're all the bosses. I'm just trying to help do my part because I believe that I can apply myself to a higher role in our band. And I guess that's about it. What are my skills or weaknesses? My skills... Okay, so one of my skills is that I'm not the worst at trumpet. And one of my weaknesses is that I used to have an ego, as most trumpet players are known to have. Some beat it more than others, some don't, some do, but it's just a stereotype, I suppose. I used to have a very large ego, and I used to think I was the best, and high school rolled around, and I realized I wasn't, and I probably wouldn't be unless I applied myself even more. And I've applied myself. Another one of my skills is that I do apply myself, and I try really hard with everything that I'm involved in. If I if I didn't want to be involved, I wouldn't try so hard. So one of my skills is that while I'm not not exactly the best at what I do, I am decent enough to consider myself for this type of role, where I think that I could offer advice, and people could come to me and ask for advice on their instrument, on different techniques that they can use for playing, for motivation, this and that. One of my weaknesses is that I try to be very easygoing, and that could be a strength, but it can also be a weakness because it could be exploited by, other parties or people, and I don't want to get used or anything, but I try to be very easygoing unless it's a very serious situation. I like to just get the work done. I don't want to worry about putting other people down, making them feel like, oh, this is the most serious thing that's going on. Because if we can just get the job done, it's not a problem. And which will come up in a later question. Friends on and off the field. How would I treat friends on and off the field? So again, I like people. People are great. And I hope people like me. That's one of the things about me. I like to reach out to other people and try and be their friends and stuff. And I'm sure this has to do also with the disagreements and whatnot. Yes, they're my friends, and yes, I'm their friends, but as a section leader, I have to be impartial about most things. I'm still going to be friendly with everyone, and it's not like a, oh, he's the new brass or whatever. He's got the high role now, so we can't be friends with him. That's not what it's about, to me at least. And then if it has to become that, I'd hate it, but whatever helps the band. Again, I just want to help people, and if there was a disagreement between two members, like let's say, hypothetically, like Jenna. Let's say Jenna, a member of High Brass, gets in a disagreement with Henry, a saxophone. Okay, let's say that happens. Now I can't exactly just immediately side with Jenna because she's part of the family or whatever, the high brass group. You can't do that because you have to be impartial. You can't make a decision before. I have to take the things to the higher levels of the hierarchy, which isn't right away I don't think. It's the staff and the drum majors, but drum majors are going to be busy. So I guess the immediate staff, and then if it's serious enough, I'll be able to gauge it and go straight to you. The hierarchy is put into place for situations like that, but I believe that the section leader should be able to judge the situation, like, should this go straight to Mr. Smith? Is this serious enough? And I think that I'm good with judgment for that sort of thing. But on and off the field, they're still my friends. It's not something that I have to like put on a mask and be all serious and be like, sorry, we can't be friends right now. I'm in charge of you. It's not what it's about. It should never be about that, because then that loses any respect that you might get from that person, and it will cause problems later down the road if no one's willing to listen to you, even though you're given those directions by, let's say, you or a member of the staff. And I've seen that problem in past years, just a level of disrespect because that person doesn't give the people respect. Like the leader, if the leader doesn't respect the members, the member won't respect the leader. That's how it should work, I think. It's, at the end of the day, we're all students, They don't have to listen to me, they have to listen to you. But I'm hoping that if I can respect them, they can respect me, and we can get the job done a lot quicker and a lot easier. Helping with the noise problem. We're a talkative bunch. We like telling jokes, we like telling stories, we go to the same school. We're like, oh, did you see what this teacher did today? Or, hey, what was the math homework? We're a talkative bunch. But when we're on the field, that's our job. Our job isn't, doing the chemistry homework. We figure that out before and after, during breaks, and whatever, what have you. But when we're on the field to march and to play and to warm up and to practice and to just gather as a band. That's all it's about. That's all it's about in that moment. And I'm never going to tell them to shut up. I don't think it's a good idea to, once again, if you don't respect them, they don't respect you. They'll stop listening, and they'll only listen to people like you or the staff, which, it's fine. But I think the problem could end a lot sooner if they'd be able to listen to people like me, people that are applying for this section leader role. The noise problem can be easily fixed, I think, and forgive me if this comes across the wrong way. I think people with the higher roles like yourself or the staff, I think if they were a little bit sharper sometimes, it would end most of the problems. And I don't mean yelling. That's a bad idea, because then parents would get involved and stuff like that. And it's obvious, that. But I think that the section leaders, if they're harder, but the higher members of the hierarchy aren't, then no one's going to take it seriously. And that doesn't just have to do with noise. That has to do with most aspects of it. I'm really basing all this around just like respect for each other, aren't I hope you understand what I mean by that. I probably should have written up a script, but again, don't always have a script in front of you. What techniques do I use for motivating others? I did this one a lot this year specifically, because High Brass struggled with noise as for the last question and whatnot, and just paying attention and stuff like that. Made a lot of noises. I'm guilty of that myself. But techniques I use whenever we're done with a run or whenever we're chunking sets, At the end of each run, I always say, good job, and I'm not the only person that does that. We all congratulate each other and say, oh, that sounded great, or if we're not playing, oh, you really hit that set. And, like, let's say it's somebody that's been struggling with a set. I've been there, you've been there, we've all been there. But if someone's struggling with a set, and they get it right on a run, you don't just be like, okay, that's what's supposed to happen. You congratulate them. It's sort of a meritocracy sort of thing. Not exactly, but it's like, you do well, you get praised for it. Because I'm afraid of the whole the Murfreesboro mentality, where it's like, okay, we're all building up to this one end goal, and when that's over, we're done. It's a bad mentality. And I know you've already addressed that. I know that that's going to go away if it's even still around. You have to motivate them through and through, in and out. It's just, you do work right, and you get congratulated for it. But if you don't do it right away, you don't get yelled at, and that's never happened that I know of. But you have to motivate them and make them feel good for what they're doing. Or let's say it's a concert band or pep band. Pep band's a good one for motivation, because maybe it's not by the books, but sometimes we bring in, like if they're playing second trumpet, like the second part, we might bring one of them in. I know we did this with Bryce, so that Bryce could learn the music easier. We brought Bryce in when he played second part. And we were like, Bryce, our chops are dying. It's been a long night. The basketball game's been going on forever. You think you can play these notes? He was like, yeah. And he played a couple of them, and he played a couple of the songs. And that made him feel better for himself as a musician and a band member, because he's being assigned to this part, and he played that part. He it's not chaotic. If it was chaotic, it wouldn't work. That's why we gauge it. Gauging it's very important for that sort of thing. But we bring people and we make them feel better, because we help them recognize their abilities, and then they strive to do that again with like seating, so that they can play more of that type of music. I know that we did that with I guess it was Bryce and Nathaniel, or Renee. It was Renee. Bryce and Renee. We let them play first, because just Nathaniel didn't want to. We got those two to play first one night, and then they tried getting higher parts when concert came around, and Bryce did. Motivation to me is just, if you're feeling good about something, you can convey that you can give that to someone else, especially for things that they've done right. It's give or take, and I know I've rambled for a couple minutes about this one, and it probably doesn't even make sense. I apologize. What's the most important characteristic of being a section leader? I should have thought about that one, but an answer already came to mind. Patience, I think, is very important, because you can't expect them to get it on the first go. You have to be patient with them, for especially like incoming freshmen. The first band camp at the high school for incoming freshmen is very scary, especially when you're learning, marching techniques like they learn in junior high. The junior high staff, Miss Shaheen Hoke, she does a very nice job with teaching, but it's very different in a high school. We have different techniques and whatnot, and a lot more vocab words, I suppose, for marching. And it can be very overwhelming for a freshman. It was for me. It was very overwhelming for me and a bunch of my other friends. But we took it at our own pace. And yeah, if you go too slowly, you're going to drown. You're going to get caught up in things. But if you're able to take it at your own pace, and your section leader has the patience to help you, not just leave you in the dark, help you, teach you how to learn and stuff, it's better for both the member and the section leader, because you can form a bond that way. When I was a freshman, I struggled with backwards marching. Or was it the switch? When, you switch from backwards marching to just forward march. I struggled with that transition, and my section leader pulled me to the side. I thought I was going to get in trouble. He was like, here, I'll show you how you can do this. And he showed me, and that helped me get a bond with him, Jacob. And that sort of thing is what we could see more of. I didn't see a lot of it this year, and I'm not blaming anyone for that. It's just there was a lot of freshmen, so I think that might have been why. I was a part of a smaller class my year, so that might have been why there was more like flexibility for pulling them to the sides and helping them. But I'd like to see that more. And if we've got a big staff coming, then that could help a lot of freshmen even more, which would strengthen our band very much. If the freshmen can do it, we've got a great shot at whatever we're applying ourselves to. And obviously, it's not just freshmen. I'm not a perfect marcher. No one, well, Rachel Patterson, but no one else is a perfect marcher, I don't think. But we could help them get close to perfect, I think. Another important characteristic for being a section leader, I'd say, other than patience, is, I'm going to say understanding, but I don't mean like a patient kind of understanding. I mean an understanding that I guess that could be considered patience. I apologize, I am stumbling over myself, and I'm not nervous, I'm just trying to think of the right answer. Not the answer you want to hear, the right answer. I think an important role or an important characteristic for a section leader to have is to realize that it's not about them. Humility. That's what I was looking for earlier. Humility is a very important characteristic for a section leader to have, because that sort of thing can go to your head. Having a role like that can go to your head. You can't have that because you're a cog in a very large machine. And one cog stops moving, starts going off in its own direction. The machine might work a little slower, there will be some buffering, but if that happens a lot, your machine's going to stop working, and we will fail. We haven't done that yet, and I don't think we will, because we've got strong leadership, and our members are, intelligent enough to apply themselves. I don't even know. But humility is very important for a section leader because it's not about you. You have to help your section. Your section's not helping you. You have to help your section. I hope that makes sense. That probably makes no sense at all. I'm trying to think of another important characteristic, but I think I've covered my ideas on this throughout the entire time. And this video is going on 17 minutes. I don't know if you'd want to sit through all of this, but I do take this very seriously, and I do think that I can apply myself to a higher position in our band, higher than just, being a marcher or a member. I would like to take initiative, and I personally believe that I've gotten more responsible as of late. I hope that you've never known me to be irresponsible, other than my stupid missteps like this here, how this is late, and showing up to jazz band, or not showing up to jazz band on the right day, and then showing up to jazz band on the wrong day because I didn't go straight to you for communication or whatever. That was my fault, and I hope that that's not irresponsibility to you. I think it's just stupidity on my part. But I do believe that I've gotten stronger in that sense, that I am more responsible, and I recognize the size of the responsibility that being a section leader is. You can't show up late for practices. You can't take a day off. And I don't see the job that I plan on ending up getting over the summer. And if I don't get that, I have another job on reserve. So I shouldn't have any conflictions with band and work or anything like that. That's something to take into consideration. I don't think any of that will be a problem at all. We'll have to see for that, but I don't think there would be any conflictions there. Also, I remember stating that I have a very good immune system. I do. I haven't been sick since 2nd grade. I don't know why. I have no clue why. I have allergies. You can tell probably that I'm a little sniffly. I have allergies, but I don't miss school. I don't miss events. I don't miss things. I probably have some vacation days saved up for all the years that I've missed, but I'll take those some other time, I suppose. I don't know. I don't want to waste more of your time. I know that I've been rambling for the past couple of minutes, and I hope that I've answered all of the questions to the best of my ability. I don't know. I hope I've filled the amounts of requirements that I can. You know that I work hard. You know that I'm somewhat responsible. And you know that I'm patient, I'd say, with people. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. Maybe I'm not giving myself enough. I have weaknesses, but I have strengths, and I don't know. It's not a give or take. I don't even know what that means, but I hope you do. I don't know. Thank you again for letting me answer these questions now. Thank you.